Good morning, students. Only 34 participants are there. Anyone please respond? Am I audible to you? Can you see the screen? Dear students, anyone please respond? Hello? Anyone please unmute yourself and speak out. Not 6 Venkatesh, are you there?
Sir,
Okay, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Okay. Now I'm unmuting all. Today I'm going to start the session. Today we are going to discuss about comparators. What's are here in the image? Dial indicators are there, but you are saying that comparators. Okay, indicators nothing but comparators when their use is different. Okay, already discussed the dial indicators in the previous classes. What is the dial indicator? Simply indicates the dimension of the object. Okay, or variations in the object, right? It is used for actual measurement of the given component. Dial indicator used for actual measurement of the given work part. But comparators are meant for showing the deviations of the given work part from the standard. Okay, they are only showing the difference of variation, difference of variation in the dimension when compared to the standard is only displayed on the dial of the indicator. If those are used to indicate only the deviation or the difference from the standard, then they are called comparators. Dial indicators nothing but comparators when they are used for indicating the difference from the standard one, right? If they are used for measuring the actual dimension of the given part, they are called as dial indicators, right? That is the difference between dial indicator and comparators. Here, different types of dial indicators are there. We are going to discuss about different types of dial indicators, right? Okay, this is completely stand of the dial indicator and this is a platter. Okay, we are going to place the work part to be measured here. We already discussed in the dial indicators, right? Next, what is introduction about comparator? What is the comparator? Simply, it is a precision instrument used for comparing the dimensions of a workpiece with a working standard. Okay, or master setting, which represent the basic size. Always are going to compare the dimension of given workpiece with a standard work part. What the standard means the master slip gauges. Okay, the slip gauge. They use it as a standard. Always you're going to compare the given workpiece dimension with the standard, and you are simply getting the difference between those two pieces, master piece, the standard piece, and the work piece, right? A comparator works on relative measurements. Relative measurements. It is given, the measurement is given with respect to standard work part. That is the master slip case, right? Relative measurement, how much it differs from the standard one is given. So these are completely depends on relative measurements, right? It does not measure the actual dimension. Comparator does not measure the actual dimension. Okay, but indicates how much it differs from the basic dimension. Okay, only it gives the difference of the given work part from the standard one is indicated by the comparator. Okay, very important. This comparator comparing the dimensions of workpiece with a working standard. It does not measure the actual dimension, but indicates how much it differs from the basic dimension. Right. This is how you can observe the picture. In this first case, In this case, the dial indicator or the dial, sorry, comparator is simply placed on the master work part. That is the slip gauge. The height of the slip gauge is H initially, and the pointer is showing the reading here. Okay, this is the initial position of the pointer. Okay, this master gauge, this master slip gauge is simply replaced to the work part to be measured here under the plunger. Under the plunger, this is the work part to be measured. And this dimension of the work part is more than H. That is somewhat H plus X. So this comparator only meant for indicating the difference of the dimension from master slip gauge to the work part. Here, the master slip gauge height is H and the work part height is H plus X, but it will not show the H value, only it gives the X value. It will not give the actual measurement of the work part. Simply it gives the variation, okay, when compared with the standard one. That means in the previous case, while placing the slip gauge below the plunger, simply you are going to set the pointer to the zero. Okay. By rotating the dial, the pointer is set to zero when the slip gauge of height is H is kept below this plunger. After setting zero, again that comparator is used to measure any work part of dimension which is approximately equivalent to slip gauge. Okay, that work part to be tested is placed under the plunger or stylus here. Okay, then the pointer will deflect through this. Okay, this is only the excess measurement present in the work part when compared with the standard. In this way, the comparators are used to indicate the difference of the work part from the standard work parts, standard work parts, right? Masterpieces, right? Why comparator is used? What is the requirement of comparator? If you go for the mass production, the identical components are produced on a very large scale. You know very well. It is very difficult and expensive and may not be feasible to measure the dimensions of all components with use of vernier calipers and micrometer. Up to now, we discussed about vernier calipers and micrometers to measure the linear measurements, okay, and diameters, okay, width, length, all the dimensions can be measured using vernier calipers and micrometer. Here, the products are produced on large scale. It is very difficult to check all the produced parts, produced components with the vernier calipers and micrometer. So it is not feasible, okay, with the help of vernier calipers and micrometer. Therefore, in that case, you have to go for another device called as micrometer. Okay, to check dimensional, this comparator is also used for check the dimensional variation from the standard. Okay, it is used for checking the dimensional variation of the given component from the standard. Next, comparing. I'm going to take a date spotlight. Okay, here comparing manufactured, right? Here comparing manufactured part to the master part. Otherwise, it is possible to compare the given part with the standard part. By that, you can get the dimensional variation. The comparator requires little skill for the operator. While operating the vernier calipers and micrometer, the operator should have the skill, okay, in order to keep the work part, between the parallel end faces. And also he has to note down the readings, main scale reading, vernier scale reading, and then you have to calculate the total length or the width of the given work part. But here, no need of a skilled operator. It eliminates the human element for taking measurement and gives quick and highly consistent results. Simply the pointer indicates, okay, the difference directly, okay, without any calculation. So the reading is quick and highly consistent results. Okay, the skill operator is required and it gives quick results and highly consistent, the constant result always, right? This is a comparator requirement. Next, characteristics of good comparator. What are the different characteristics of a good comparator? Okay, different characteristics are there. Robust design and construction. It should be robust in order to withstand the effects of ordinary uses, without affecting its measuring accuracy. It should be designed robust, and construction is also robust, right? Linear characteristics of a scale. right? It should have a scale, linear and uniform scale, that is straight line characteristic, and its indications should be clear on the scale. The indications, the line should be very clear, right? Higher magnification. In order to show the smaller variation, higher magnification is required. So the magnification of the comparator should be such that smallest deviation in the size of component can be read. Smallest variation in the component can also be read with the help of higher magnification. So quick in results. If you observe quick in result, the indicating system should be such that the readings are obtained in least possible time. Definitely, right? Versatility. This comparator should be designed such a way that it should be used for variety of measurements, right? Used for wide range of measurements. That is versatility. Next, minimum wear of component. The measuring plunger should have hardened steel contact or diamond to minimize wear effects. Always you are going to bring the pointer of plunger with the workpiece. Okay, this continuous contact with the work part results wear. In order to prevent the wear of the tip, it is to be hardened steel contact or diamond, right? Further, the contact pressure should be low and even. These are the required characteristics. More characteristics are also there in the next slide. Free from oscillations. The pointer should come rapidly to rest and should be free from oscillations. Okay. While removing, if you remove the work part from the below the plunger, then the pointer should come to its original position rapidly. Okay, without any oscillation. This is free from oscillation. The system should be free from backlash and unnecessary friction. Backlash means micrometer. If you rotate the screw thimble, okay, very fastly, screws are completely slipping. Because of slipping, Kash, Kash, okay, free from backlash. System should be free from backlash and unnecessary action. If you rotate the screw of micrometer fastly, very fastly, slippage will occur. The slippage results error readings. Okay, that is backlash. Quick inspection of workpiece. It is should be provided for lifting the plunger for quick insertion of workpiece. Workpiece should be very easily inserted below the plunger. Okay, by lifting the plunger very easily. Adjustable table. It should have adjustable table in the vertical sense, right? Compensation from temperature effects. The indicator should be provided with maximum compensation for temperature effects. Okay, it should not undergo any variation with respect to the temperature changes, right? Means to prevent damage. Okay, suitable means are to be provided for preventing the damage of instrument when when the plunger moving through a greater distance than the corresponding to the range of its measuring scale. Okay, when it is moving greater distance than the given range, it should not affect. Okay, it should not damage. For that, there is a provision, right? These are all the different required characteristics of the good comparator. What are the applications of comparators? Comparators are used to check the parts in mass production at very fast rate, and they are used to inspect newly purchased gauges. Different gauges are also inspected by using these comparators. They are used as laboratory standards. Okay, in order to check working and inspection of gauges. Okay, in order to check them, inspect them, and in order to set and correlate them. Right. They are used as final inspection gauges in selective assembly of parts. Okay, assembly of finally produced components as required. In that case, final inspection is done by using these comparators. They are used for checking parts received from outside sources. Okay, next. These are the also applications of comparators based on laboratory standard, working gauges, final inspection gauges, receiving inspection gauges, checking newly purchased gauges, like that. Laboratory standards for inspecting, working and inspection gauges. This laboratory standard comparators are used as laboratory standards. Next, they are used as working gauges. Okay, in order to prevent work spoilage and to maintain the required tolerance, these working gauges are used. While undergoing different operation, okay, intermittently you are going to check the work part while manufacturing or while processing, okay, in order to maintain the given tolerance, okay, that is working gases. While doing okay operations on the work parts, always you are going to check the work part dimensions in order to maintain the tolerance. Final inspection cases. While before assembling the produced components, selective assembly, final inspection is done by using these comparators. The receiving inspection cases. Parts received from outside source also inspected. Whatever the discussed in the previous slide, same with the different headings. For checking newly purchased gases and components in mass production at a very faster rate. These are the applications of the comparator, right? So these pictures indicates the application of comparators in order to check the different circularity, reality, and height. Okay, variation in the surface flatness. Okay, for different purpose, we are going to use these comparators, right? Classification of comparators. There are a variety of comparators based on different mechanisms used in these comparators. Those are mechanical comparators, mechanical optical comparators, electrical and electronics comparators, and pneumatic comparators, fluid displacement comparators, projection comparators, multi-chip comparators, automatic gauging machines, electromechanical comparators, high sensitive calibration comparators. These two are very important, but they are not included in our syllabus. Brooks level comparator and Eden rolled to millionth comparator. These are high sensitive calibration comparators. Okay, as per our syllabus, we are going to discuss about mechanical comparators, mechanical optical comparators, electrical and pneumatic comparators. These four varieties are we are going to discuss in the coming slides. Okay, as per our syllabus. Okay, the mechanical comparators, the first one is dial indicator. We already discussed about the dial indicator. We will see the slides also. Next, you go for read comparator, sigma comparator, Johnson comparator. And then you go for the optical comparators and electrical and pneumatic comparators. Right. These are the different mechanisms used in comparators. Rack and pinion mechanism in case of dial indicator, cam and gate train, lever with the toothed gear, compound levers, twisted right strip, and a lever combined. These are the different mechanisms which you are going to use in the okay coming comparators. Okay, right. Dial indicator. We already discussed in the earlier classes about a dial indicator. It indicates the small variation at the contact point on the work part. Okay, on the dial indicator, on the dial of the indicator. Okay, here in this case, we are going to use the rack and pinion mechanism. Different gears are used here in this case. In this case, in order to magnify the small variation on the work part. Okay, in order to magnify the small variation on the work part and to indicate on the dial, right? This is already discussed in the earlier classes, right? This is all about the dial indicator. It is used for checking the height, checking of the height of workpiece, right? Application of dial indicator. It can be used to compare two heights and distances between narrow limits. It is used for determining errors in geometrical forms, reality, out of roundness, taper. It is used for testing the alignment, roundness, and parallelism work piece. The dial indicators are most common instrument for quality control. These indicators are already discussed in the earlier classes. That is the reason why I am being somewhat fast. Right? These are the different applications. This is why will stop here. Dial indicator is also part of a comparator, but is Johnson macro case is complete case the body this is the body that metal steel pieces If you please wait, I'm sharing the session again. There is an interruption. My dear students, this is Johnson Microcator. In this case, okay, my dear students, in this case, one twisted metal strip is placed between this bell crank lever and this cantilever strip. So one end of the twisted metal strip is attached to the bell crank lever and the other end is attached to the cantilever strip here, cantilever strip. Okay, the length of the cantilever can be adjusted. Right. Here the bell crank lever, one end is simply placed on the plunger, top of the plunger here in this case. And the plunger is simply mounted inside a slit washer. The slit washer simply prevents okay, circular, the rotational motion of the plunger about its own axis is simply prevented by the slit washer, right? Here the contact point, and this is complete plunger, right? Here, one thin glass pointer, the lightweight glass pointer is simply attached at the middle of this twisted metal strip. Here, the principle is when the twisted metal strip is subjected to tension or pull, in that case, because of twisting, okay, it gets untwisted. It is trying to untwist like that. In that case, it rotates. When the twisted metal strip is subjected to tension because of the movement of this bell crank lever, okay, the metal strip is gets rotated. Okay, when it is rotated, along with this, the thin glass pointer also rotates, and it rotates on the dial to indicate the variation in the work part. Variation in the work part. Okay, we observe here. When tension is applied to the twisted strip, this causes strip to untwist, resulting in rotation of pointer, which attached at the center of the twisted strip. That is the principle used here. If you observe here, the two halves of the twisted metal strip are twisted in opposite direction. This is one direction, this is in another direction, clockwise and the anti-clockwise, right? Okay. We go for working. Working of this Johnson microcator. In this case, the plunger is placed on the work part to be tested. Because of variation on the work part, the plunger will move up and down. The plunger will displace in the up and down directions. Suppose the plunger move in the upward direction, the upward moving plunger simply pushes the bell crank lever. When it pushes the bell crank lever, the bell crank lever from the initial position, that is the black position, black colored lines position to the hidden line position. When it is pushed away, when it is pushed away, tension will apply on the twisted metal strip. Because of this tension, okay, that twisted metal strip gets starts rotate. When it is starts rotates, along with the twisted strip, the glass pointer also rotate on the dial in order to indicate the smaller variation at the plunger movement on the work part on the dial. Okay, this is the principle, working principle used in Johnson micro data. Okay, right. And magnification. Here the magnification is the ratio of change of pointer rotation to the change in length of strip. Change in length of strip. Okay, here if you take the length of the strip is this one. Okay, and the rotation pointer rotation as d theta. Then the magnification of the instrument is given by d theta by dl. D theta by dl indicates the magnification of this instrument comparator. Okay, it is proportional to length and width is inversely proportional to square of the width and inversely proportional to number of turns, right? Here, theta indicates twist of spring at the center with respect to the end. Next, L, length of twisted strip measured along its neutral axis. Next, W indicates width of twisted strip and number of turns. Okay, if you observe here, the magnification is directly proportional to length. If the length of the strip increases, the magnification instrument is increased. Okay, right. If the width of the twisted strip is reduced, automatically the magnification increases, right? And here n represents number of turns. When the number of turns increases, okay, the magnification decreases. When the number of turns decreases, the magnification increases, right? Okay, you can see the video. Okay.
Hello everyone. In this video, we will see how Johnson microcrater works. Here is the Johnson microcrater. Type of mechanical comparator which was developed by the Johnson Ltd company of USA. This instrument uses principle referred as Abramson moment named after H. Abramson to obtain high mechanical magnification of the difference in length as compared to the standard. A twisted thin metal strip holds a pointer which shows the readings on the suitable scale. Since there is no friction involved in the transfer of movement from the strip to the pointer, it is free from backlash. Let us see its construction. The metal strip is twisted and fixed between the two ends as shown. Any longitudinal movement in either direction will cause the central portion of the strip to rotate. One end of the strip is fixed to the adjustable cantilever and the other end is fixed to the spring elbow. The spring elbow, which consists of a flexible strip and a stiff diagonal, acts as a bell crank lever and causes the twisted strip to change its length whenever there is a movement in the plunger. The change in the length will result in a proportional amount of twist of metallic strip. The magnification can be varied by changing the length of the spring elbow. A pull on the metal strip subjects it to tensile force in order to prevent excessive stress on the central portion of the metal strip. Perforations are made in the strip. The plunger rotational movement is arrested by the split washer, which only allows vertical movement of the plunger. Since we understood the construction, now we will see how it is used to compare or its working. The instrument is initially calibrated to the standard and the zero is set to this value. Instrument also has two pointers which can be set as upper and lower limits. Then the test specimen is placed on the measuring table and made to slide below the plunger of the instrument. Any difference in the measured dimension of the specimen will result in either lowering or rising of the plunger. The lowering and rising of the plunger will make the bell crank lever to move in forward or backward direction and in turn will twist or untwist the metallic strip. This results in the movement of the pointer which shows the reading on the appropriate scale. This is how Johnson's microcrater works. Hope I have put enough effort. Hello everyone. In this video we
Okay. Next one is reed type mechanical comparator. Okay. In this case, it is completely based on the reed. These two are the vertical reeds here, these two reeds, and here horizontal reeds are also there, two reeds. Reed D. These two reeds, vertical reeds called as reeds D, and the horizontal reeds are called as reeds C. And it is consists of a fixed block A. This is the fixed block, and here the floating block. This is the right side. This is the floating block. To the floating block, the plunger reed is attached here. Okay, right. Here, the two reeds are simply joined, okay, at the top, okay, without any sliding between the two reeds, vertical reeds. Okay, in order to prevent the sliding between these two vertical reeds, these two reeds are simply attached at the top, joined at the top. And at this top position, okay, here the pointer is attached, right? Okay, in this case, the reeds movement, the whatever the smaller variation on the work part to be tested, that movement simply pushes the plunger in the upward direction. Whatever the movement given to the plunger, it is simply transferred to the horizontal reeds through the floating block, floating, right? Horizontal reeds. Okay, here, this floating block and these reeds are in turn connected with the reeds D. So it finally reaches the variation, finally reaches the movement or the motion finally reaches the reeds D. These reeds, this is the fixed reed and this is the movable reed. Okay, observe clearly the vertical reeds out of two vertical reeds. This is the fixed reed which is attached to the fixed block A. And this reed, vertical reed, right side vertical reed is simply attached to the movable floating block. Okay, I will show you. Okay, if you observe here, the vertical reed, this vertical reed is attached to the floating block. Floating block. This is the floating block attached to the floating block, right? It is movable. This reed is movable, but the reed attached to the fixed block. This is the fixed block, right? When the plunger moves upward, when it is moved on the work part, okay, because of variations on the work part, the plunger will move up and down. Suppose if the plunger is moving up, okay, in that case, okay, it is simply the motion is simply transmitted to the floating block, and then it is again transmitted to the reeds, transmitted to the reeds C, and these two reeds deflects. If you observe clearly here, hidden lines are shown here. Initial position, this block decline shows the initial position. This hidden line shows the displaced position. When the plunger is displaced, automatically the floating block displaces certain amount, and then that is transferred to the reeds C, and those are displaced. This displacement is again transmitted to the pointer through the mobile reed, vertical mobile reed. This reed will move in the upward direction. It will simply rotate the pointer. Rotate the pointer. Okay. How it rotates? If you observe here in this case, this is the fixed reed, vertical reed, and this mobile reed. When it is moving upward, simply it pushes this block. To this block, this simply pointer is attached. Automatically, the pointer can rotate on the dial. Right. This is the working of a reed type mechanical comparator. Okay. Okay, you can see videos in small video here.
Type comparator. Reed type comparator is a mechanical comparator. For those of you who don't know what comparator means, comparator is a precision instrument used to compare the dimensions of given working component with actual working standard. There are different types of comparators are available. If you're interested to know the construction and working of all the comparators, the link is provided in the description of this video. You can click on the link for all the types of comparators. Let's start. You may think why it is called reed type comparator, and what is reed exactly means. Reed is long supporting rod or shaft. In the reed type comparator there are reeds, which are used for magnification purpose. Let's see what are the different parts of this comparator. First, reeds. Second, blocks. Third, plunger, which is also called a spindle. Fourth, pointer. Fifth, scale. Out of 4 reeds, 2 placed vertically and 2 placed horizontally, connected between the 2 blocks A and B. Here, A block is fixed block, whereas B block is floating block. Out of 2 vertical reeds, left vertical reed is fixed, and the right vertical reed is movable and is connected to the block B. The floating block is connected to the plunger. As the plunger moves upward, then the floating block moves upward as well, and vertical reed on the right side moves up gradually. This causes the pointer to deflect on the scale. Since we understood the construction and working of the reed type mechanical comparator, now let's see how to use it. A working standard will be placed underneath the plunger to take the dimensions as the required dimension. After taking the reading of upper and lower limits of standard's dimension, standard is removed. Now place the workpiece underneath the plunger to take the measurement of the workpiece. Slide the workpiece below the plunger and take the readings. Compare the readings with actual working standards readings. This is how reed type mechanical comparator is used. If you are new to ADTW, consider subscribing this channel to get all the latest. Now let's see how to use.
Right. Next one is sigma comparator. It is also mechanical comparator. In this case, if you use here, observe here, the fixed member and moving members are used and the Y frame is used. This mechanical okay, conversion. That means these are used to magnify the smaller displacement at the plunger. Okay, the sigma comparator works on leverage principle, in which high magnification obtained entirely by mechanical means. That is the reason why this sigma comparator comes under mechanical comparators. Okay, completely based on leverage principle. Okay, if you observe here, the fixed member and a moving member, two are attached here on the vertical. Right, it is a moving member, it is fixed member. And if you observe here, this is a plunger, and the plunger is simply having, it is placed in the slit diaphragm, and it is adjustable. That means the knife edge is there. This knife edge is simply attached to the plunger. Okay, it can be adjusted. It can be adjusted in order to move up and down. Right. It can be adjusted in vertical direction. Right. It is a slit diaphragm. Then this knife edge is simply placed on the moving member here. Moving member here. This knife edge, small knife edge is simply placed on this moving member here. There is a connection between this knife edge and moving member. And again, this moving member and fixed member is again connected with the Y-shaped arm. Y-shaped arm. This Y-shaped arm again is connected with the driving drum here. Driving drum here. Okay, they again on the driving drum shaft, simply the pointer is mounted. Okay, simply the motion at the plunger. Okay, at the plunger, the small motion, vertical motion or downward motion at the plunger is simply transmitted to the knife edge. From the knife edge, okay, it is transmitted to the moving member. From here, it is transmitted to the Y arm. From here, it is transferred to the, okay, driving drum, and finally, it is transferred to the rotating member. Because of rotation of this driving drum, the pointer also rotates, okay, against the scale, right? This is the axis of, if you observe here clearly, the fixed member and the moving member are two blocks here, two blocks, and the axis of rotation. This indicates the axis of rotation of the moving member because of, okay, push or pull applied by the knife edge. Right. You observe clearly. Can observe clearly in this case. Right. Because of a small movement of the plunger will move upward or downward. When it is moving in the downward direction, suppose this knife edge simply presses this moving member. When it is pressed, simply it rotates about the axis. It rotates about the axis. Simply the movement of this moving member is conveyed to this Y arm. This Y arm simply connects the movement because this Y arm movement is simply transferred to the driving drum here, and finally on the driving drum pointer is attached, it rotates. Okay, right, this is the working of a sigma comparator, small variations. Right, this, if you observe, this is the initial position of the sigma comparator before placing the work part. Okay, right, this is the final position of the comparator after placing the work part, and the work part is simply okay, slide, okay, below this plunger. Because of the variation on the work part surface, simply the plunger will move. The motion, the smaller movement of the plunger, sliding motion or displacement of the plunger is simply conveyed, transferred to the pointer through these leverage mechanisms, right? Okay, you can see the video regarding this.
Hello everyone. In this week, the construction and working of Sigma comparator. Sigma comparator is a simple but ingenious mechanical comparator developed by Sigma Instrument Company, USA. A linear displacement of a plunger is translated into the movement of a pointer over a calibrated scale. The plunger is the sensing element that is in contact with the workpiece. It moves on the slit washer, which provides precise linear movement and also arrests the rotation of the plunger about its axis. A knife edge is screwed onto the plunger, which bears upon the face of moving member of cross strip hinge. This unit comprises of fixed and a moving block, connected by thin flexible strips at a right angle to each other. Whenever the plunger moves up or down, the knife edge drives the moving member of cross strip hinge assembly. This deflects an arm which divides into a Y form. The extreme ends of the Y arm are connected to a driving drum by means of phosphor bronze strip. The movement of the Y arm rotates the driving drum and in turn the pointer spindle. This causes the movement of the pointer over a calibrated scale. The magnification of the instrument is obtained in two stages. In first stage, if the effective length of the Y-arm is L and the distance from the hinge pivot to the knife edge is X, then the magnification is L by X. The second stage of magnification is obtained with respect to pointer length R and driving drum radius small r. The magnification is given by R by small r. Overall magnification is given by L by X into R by small r. Since we understood the construction, now we will see how it is used to compare or its working. The instrument is initially calibrated to the standard and the zero is set to this value. Then the test specimen is placed on the measuring table and made to slide below the plunger of the instrument. Any difference in the measured dimension of the specimen will result in either the lowering or rising of the plunger. The lowering or rising of the plunger will make the knife edge to move up or down, and this makes the movable block to deflect, which in turn deflects the Y-arm, which turns the drum, and this results in the movement of the pointer, which shows the reading on the calibrated scale. This is how Sigma comparator works. Hope you have understood the construction and working of Sigma comparator.
Right. What are the up to now we discussed about three types of mechanical comparators. Now, advantages and disadvantages of mechanical comparators. We observe here the first advantage, they are cheaper compared to other types of comparators, right? They do not require any external electrical energy. Okay, they are normally robust, compact, and easy to handle. Okay, robust in design means they are free from any oscillations and accuracy is maintained. Compact and easy to handle. Normally, they have a linear scale. Mechanical comparators are suitable for ordinary workshop conditions and being portable can be used from a store. Right. Disadvantages. Due to more moving parts, okay, leverages and gears and pinions due to more moving parts, the friction is more and subsequently less accuracy of time. The accuracy of this comparator is considerably reduced due to backlash also. Due to slippage, backlash means due to slippage, okay, backlash will occur. Accuracy is reduced. Less sensitive due to inertia of moving parts, right? Errors due to parallax is possible as moving pointer moves over a fixed scale. Okay. Here the pointer is moving over the fixed scale. Always you have to take the reading without any parallax error. So there is a possibility of parallax error in this case because of linear scale. The range of instrument is limited as pointer moves over a fixed scale. They have a less magnification compared to optical comparators. These are the advantages and disadvantages of mechanical comparators. Next, working principle of optical comparator. If you observe clearly, we already discussed in case of autocollimeter. Okay, when the light source emits a beam of light, this beam of light is allowed to strike the mirror here. Beam of light strike the mirror here. Okay, when it strikes the mirror, mirror means it is a well polished surface. Okay, there is no variation on the surface. It is purely or completely flat surface. When the beam of light touches or incident on the mirror at an angle theta, then it reflects at the same angle theta. At the same angle theta. If the mirror is completely flat. Okay, clear. Next, if you observe here, when the beam of light strikes the mirror which is tilted, that means the workpiece which is having variation in its surface. In that case, if the ray is incident at an angle theta 1, then it reflects at an angle of 2 alpha. Okay, observe here. Here, the beam of light is incident on the mirror, and because of a variation in the position of the mirror is simply tilted through an angle alpha. If the mirror is tilted through an angle alpha, then the reflected ray will angle alpha, 2 alpha. This is what we discussed in case of autocollimator. Okay, if the mirror or plane mirror is perpendicular to the perpendicular to the ray, in that case, okay, you will get the same path. Or otherwise, if the mirror is tilted, you will get the 2 alpha angle thing. angle of tilt. Okay, this is the working principle of optical comparator. In this case, when the beam of light strikes the plane mirror in this position, okay, it is reflected through an angle theta only. Then, if the mirror is, or if the mirror or the in the place of mirror, you can take the object. If the object is tilted, it is having variation in surface. In that case, simply the reflected way reflects through an angle to alpha. Here, alpha angle tilt is there in the object. There exists a deflection of beam through an angle to alpha. This is the working principle of optical comparator. Okay, mechanical. We are going to discuss about one type that is lever mechanical optical comparator. Lever type mechanical optical comparator. This one, if you observe here, in this case, the mechanical and optical, both mechanisms are incorporated in this case. So two-stage magnification is possible in this case of mechanical optical comparator. This is the first part, plunger and this lever. The lever is pivoted here. This lever and the plunger, this combination gives the mechanical, okay, magnification, and this mirror and this mirror, okay, gives the mirror and light source gives the optical magnification. Optical magnification. Therefore, here in this case, two-stage magnification is possible. Mechanical optical consists of plunger, which is attached to the lever and mirror, on which the light strikes. Okay. Here you are going to discuss the construction of this mechanical optical comparator. Okay. Here the one plunger is the plunger is simply attached to the lever one end. Okay. Other end of the lever is simply it supports the mirror. Again, the mirror is pivoted at this point. It can rotate about this point, and this lever can rotate about this point. Okay, the length up to this pivot is L1. From here to the length is L2. And finally, in between this end of the lever and this pivot point of the mirror is L3. Okay, and this you can take from the position of pivot to the dial. This is L4. Okay, clear. For a very small plunger movement, plunger displacement, okay, when the plunger is displaced in this direction, in the upward or downward direction, okay, suppose if it is displaced in the upward direction, okay, right, okay, the lever is deflects, okay, like this, and the deflected lever simply rotates the mirror through an angle alpha. When the mirror is rotated through an angle alpha, the light which is coming from the light source and striking the mirror deflects through an angle 2 alpha. 2 alpha. Okay. The light source is that from the light source, a beam of light is allowed to pass through condenser. The condenser simply condenses the beam of light, okay, through the lens, okay, through the index here. The lens for simply allows the parallel beam of light. This parallel beam of light strikes the mirror. From the mirror, it is again projected, right? In this case, because of movement of the plunger, the mirror gets tilted through an angle, okay, alpha, and the reflected ray will deflect through 2 alpha angle. Okay, that means here the magnification is in two-stage magnification. Okay, the plunger movement, small plunger movement is transferred to the mirror through the cantilever, and because of rotation of the mirror, okay, the ray is deflected. Right, this is the case. This is the original case. In this position, no deflection. No deflection here. Suppose if there exists a plunger movement dy, vertical movement, and there exists a movement of the pivot member. That means mirror movement, right? The case. Plunger moves upward through distance dy. This causes a movement of mirror at a lever end by dz. Okay. Therefore, dz equal to dy into L2 by L1. Mechanical amplification is L2 by L1. If you go for mechanical amplification, L2 by L1, mechanical amplification, and optical amplification is given as 2 times alpha. Due to this moment dz, the mirror deflects by an angle alpha, then the image will be tilted by an angle 2 alpha. Angle 2 alpha. Therefore, optical amplification is 2 into L4 by L3. Total magnification is 2 into L2 by L1 into L4 by L3. So, please see this video. I will close the session after completion of this video.
How mechanical optical comparator works. Along with basic working principle behind optical comparators, and their advantages and disadvantages. Mechanical optical comparator.
Now the time is
It is also termed as optical comparator.
9:58. It is the time to end the session, close the session. Okay. We will see the remaining part in the next class or Monday class. Okay, my dear students. If you have any doubt, you can ask by unmuting yourself. Anyone please respond, dear students. Anyone please respond. Venkatesh 306, 324, 17 series 324. Anyone please respond? Do you have any doubts? Prakash Kumar, are you there? 323. My counseling batch student, that is Prakash Kumar. Are you there? No? Okay. Now the time is up. Now I am closing the session. Right. We'll discuss the remaining parts, like electrical comparator, pneumatic comparator in the coming classes.